For your fault, I know you are not going to regret even one day. As your Othaya people, I am your mother. I want to serve you as your servant. The love you showed me is great. May God bless you.
Wambui will now face it off with GNU's Peter Kingara and DP's Esau Kioni. That Othaya has generated a lot of interest can be attributed partly to President Kibaki's tenure as MP for 38 years. And for the period that she has been in the public limelight, Mary Wambui has courted controversy, attracting admiration and dislike in equal measure. Little was known about the Nyeri political activist before President Kibaki rose to power in 2002. But she was catapulted to national fame sometime in 2004 when reports emerged that Wambui was Kibaki's second wife, married under the Kikuyu customary law. But after the news broke, State House released a statement affirming that Kibaki's only immediate family was his wife Lucy and their 4 children. A visibly angry Kibaki later issued a statement seeking to put the record straight.
You know, and I know, and everybody else knows that I'm married and I have only one wife. And everyone in Kenya knows it. But the media keeps repeating about my having another wife.
And although she is not known to hold any public office, her appearance in public has awed Kenyans with all the trappings of an influential individual, including armed bodyguards. She recently survived a court battle that sought to lock her out of the Othaya contest on grounds of integrity. She, however, won the race and was cleared to run. Mary was also mentioned in connection with the controversial Armenians Artur Margarian and Artur Sargarsian, who were deported from the country after being linked to criminal activities. Having bagged the TNA nomination ticket, Mary Wambui now has one foot in the National Assembly. Or does she? Definitely much has been said about Mary Wambui Monene by her supporters as well as her opponents. But the reality of who will succeed President Mwai Kibaki, who has served as the legislator for Othaya for 38 years, will be known in March this year. Carol Nderi for KTN in Nyeri County.
Right, most of the results of the party primaries are now out, and the voters have an idea of just whose name will be on the ballot paper and on what ticket come March 4th, 2013. That date promises to pit political bigwigs against little-known individuals, and for some of it will be a critical political contest to be part of the government directly or indirectly. The results are many. The people, the politicians are actually quite a lot, but we'll sample just a few. We begin in Othaya, that constituency that has known Emilio Mwai Kibaki as its member of parliament for over 3 decades. As he heads home, the battle to replace him will be between TNA's Mary Wambui, GNU's Peter Kingara, and DP's Esau Kioni. That, of course, is a battle that everyone in the country and indeed the constituency will be watching. Now let's look at the capital here in Nairobi. And there has been a buzz about this. It's a battle that may pit TNA's Ferdinand Waititu and CORD's Evans Kidero. There is a question mark on this, though. TNA are yet to confirm that indeed Ferdinand Waititu has clinched that ticket. And if you're a fan of social media, then you must know that the former Embakasi Member of Parliament was indeed trending today on Twitter. Let's move to Kakamega now in Western, and that battle will pit 2 individuals who are well known to the voters there. And question is, just who will get the seat? We're looking at Cyrus Jirongo of FPK and Boni Khalwale of UDF. The 2 will be contesting for the senatorial seat. In Naivasha, John Mututho defected to Ngilu's NARC Kenya and will be contesting with TNA's John Kihagi for the Naivasha Member of Parliament race. Now, the ultimate battle is in Bungoma. The race to become the county's senator will be fought between the county's political heavyweight, New Ford Kenya's Musikari Kombo, UDF's Mohisa Kitui, and Ford Kenya's Moses Wetangula. Lawrence Sifuna is also in that race. Let's stay in that region and focus on Busia County. That battle will be on Ford Kenya's Chris Okemo and ODM's Amos Wako, the man who once served as Kenya's Attorney General. Now, let's take you to Turkana now. That battle for that Senate seat will be between John Munyes and Ekwe Othuro. Let's see how that goes as we move closer to the general election. But it's in Kitui that the voters will see the power of popularity and political supremacy play out between Charity Ngilu of NARC and David Musila of Wiper Party for the county Senate seat. Ngilu recently decamped from court to Jubilee, and question is, does she still have the charm to win the seat? And finally, let's look at Mombasa, the battle of just who is in control, and now that battle will pit Wiper's Hassan Omar, RCP's Najib Balala, and Ramadan Kajembe of ODM. The three will be fighting for the Senate seat. So there you have it, the epic battles that now face politicians as March 4th draws near. Of course, that is a story we are keeping an eye on. There are very few days to the general election that a lot of Kenyans are waiting for. Now, amid complaints from several aspirants, the National Alliance Party, that is TNA, has unveiled a dispute resolution council, an appellate chamber to be headed by former Judge Aaron Bringera. But as KTN's Eric Njoka now reports, the two bodies may not have much time to resolve all the nomination queries. Take a look.
According to the TNA party chairman Johnson Sakaja, any appeals arising from the decision of the resolution board will be handled by an appeal chamber to be headed by retired Justice Aaron Ringera. The aspirants who have legitimate complaints and disputes from the nomination exercise are required to submit them to the council within 24 hours, failure to which they may be considered invalid.
We hope that these resolutions will be arrived at and completed within the time stipulated by law.
As voting came to a close on Friday evening, confusion and anxiety gripped many, including the aspirants, when claims emerged of a voter bribery, missing names in the ballot papers, addition of names to the initial list of aspirants, and rigging. These malpractices, the party says, would be investigated by the council.
The process will be done above board. We shall be transparent, free and fair, and as much as possible impartial, with due regard to the rule of law and in consideration of the time factor that we have to meet the deadlines.
TNA further says those found guilty of nomination malpractices will be prosecuted.
We chose to be very deliberate in our steps to ensure that we have a credible process where the will of the people is respected and is heard.
Deserted polling stations fueled claims of rigging among TNA aspirants as the party conducted its primaries for the second day on Friday. Some of the polling centers also opened late, while angry voters accused officials presiding over the elections of incompetence. While in some constituencies like Odaya, the exercise was stopped for close to 1 hour as aspirants traded accusations over the ballot paper used and the impartiality of election officials. Eric Njoka, KTN.
Let's now take you to the coast where KTN's Ferdinand Omondi has an update of what went on even as the results of the nominations were coming in. Just yesterday, Ferdinand was telling us about how people were quite unhappy about how the whole process took place. Fadi.
Good evening. Uncertainty hangs in the air over the fate of many former ODM aspirants who have since decamped the Wiper movement after the announcement by the IEBC that it will not recognize those who made the move after Friday midnight. Now, as late as today, there are those who are making those defections or even considering to defect further. The latest of whom was the former UDF gubernatorial aspirant Suleiman Shabal, who today announced officially to his followers that he is making the move to the Wiper Democratic Movement. We tried to ask him whether he had already received his nomination certificate, but he was coy on that, saying that everything is fine. So until he is accepted, we cannot say for sure that he is going to stand or get the nomination certificate because he has not shown it to us. But we do know that from where he stands and from where his supporters stand, he has made the defection and will be vying for Governor Mombasa County on a Wiper Democratic Movement ticket. When he was received today at the Mombasa International Airport, it was with pomp, color and fanfare among his supporters. He was also accompanied by former ODM aspirants who have also decamped the Wiper movement, hoping to get that nod to vie for various seats on that movement. And he gave his reasons that this was just a homecoming for himself.
Change inakuja Mombasa. Kwa sababu watu wa Mombasa wamechoka kuishi kwenye nchi ya kitajiri na mji wa kitajiri, na 65% ya vijana wetu hawana kazi. Change must come, na change inaanza leo.
It will be remembered that Suleiman Shabal has been a man on the move for quite a while now. He was originally a member of the Orange Democratic Movement until the party election some time back, when he felt aggrieved at the manner in which they were carried out since he moved to the UDF, and then lately has been increasingly uncomfortable over his position there, especially after the latest political realliances and intrigues. And we understand from his camp that he was under intense pressure to get back into the court fold because he has still been inwardly a supporter of Raila Odinga's presidency, and so have been his supporters. So we posed the question to him why he decided to move again, and this is what he had to say.
Kuamua chama ni chama gani, hiyo ni amuzi la watu wenyewe. Sasa kama watu kwa wengi wameamua tuingie CORD na tuingie Wiper, Shaba lazima afuate mawazo ya watu wake. Ndio sababu sisi tumeingia kwenye Wiper.
Well, the defection of Suleiman Shabal basically caps the so-called dream team which Hassan Omar, the senatorial aspirant for Wiper, was alluding to when he also defected from ODM. Now he'll be vying for senator, Shabal will be vying for governor. We also have several members of aspirants for the parliamentary seats, among them Badi Twalib, who was seeking the ODM nod in Jomvu but lost yesterday when the returning officer declared Saif Kajembe the winner. But Badi feels aggrieved. He says he'll be seeking that seat now on a Wiper ticket. We also had one Hannington Nyobo who called me today to say he was also not satisfied with the way the elections were held in Nyali constituency, and said that his supporters were asking him as late as this afternoon to move to Fort Kenya. And also have Awiti Bolo, who had decamped to Wiper prior to the ODM primary. So these are the people who say they'll be giving the ODM side of the CORD coalition a run for its money for dominance in Mombasa County politics.
Kama vile wakuu walishikana huko Nairobi katika kitaifa, na sisi tutashikana hapa, na tukajua kwamba vyama vingine vimekuwa kama vyama vya kibinafsi, na tukaamua kwamba yule ambaye atatukubali sisi kama timu moja ndio atakuwa rafiki yetu katika kuendeleza sera hizi mbele.
Tutashirikiana na yoyote kwenye chama chochote ambaye anataka kuleta mabadiliko hapa Mombasa. Change is coming, change must come.
Na tunasema kama CORD, nina hakika maana ya Wiper kazi yake ni kufagilia. Tutafagilia Mombasa mzima katika general election.
Even as all this was going on, William Ruto, the URP party leader, came to court today to campaign for those candidates who had won various nominations on the URP ticket. He was in Matuga constituency and larger parts of Kwale County. And in Kinango, Chirao Ali Mwakwere, who will be seeking the senatorship position in Kwale County, made a case for the presidential aspirant on the Jubilee ticket, Uhuru Kenyatta, over the emotive land issue, and tried to defend him against accusation that he is part and parcel of that crop of people who have been associated with land grabbing in that area.
Na mimi ndio nikamuuliza Mheshimiwa Uhuru Kenyatta, wakizunguka sema Kikuyu Libardhi, na kuuliza wewe Uhuru, una plot ngapi? Plot moja, plot tu. Wacha eka moja. Ka plot kile tujenga kama hapa mjini hapa. Huko pwani yote iko nayo. Wewe ulichukua liba, wewe Uhuru Kenyatta. Ulizaliwa wakati wa uhuru. Na kuuliza iko ulifanya hivyo miaka hii yote, wewe bado kijana. Wewe mwenyewe, wewe. Simpe mtu mwingine, wewe mwenyewe. Akasema sina hata ploti ya 50 by 100. Naambia sema kweli, mimi nafanya utafiti kwa sababu Zipapa hana mchezo. Nikijua hivyo, shauri yako, maanake kule nitakupiga viboko cha siasa mpaka mwenyewe utaona ajabu. Akanambia sina ikiwa iko niambiwe mimi si. Nikamwambia nimekubali, nishafanya utafiti, wewe hukuchukua ardhi ya mtu yote. Usidanganywe kuwa Kikuyu waiba ardhi au Uhuru Kenyatta ni Mkikuyu, kwa sababu tuliwafuata wenyewe tukawauzia, lakini serikali yetu itarekebisha. Tutawaomba wauze zile ardhi zingine, tuwape tena wananchi ili wasiwe maskota na yafanyika Kenya kwingine.
But even as the nominations wave dies down, I can confirm to you from our observations here in Mombasa County that the nomination process was largely devoid of violence, as had been feared earlier before. The people had thought that there would be bloodshed. A lot of people predicted bloodshed and violence. But from our observation, Mombasa was relatively calm as opposed to other areas in the country. At the same time, people turned out in large numbers, also amid fears that organized gang had been able to intimidate people to stay in their homes. But we saw the numbers in the TNA primaries, we saw the numbers in the ODM primaries, and it was very encouraging, especially for the fact that they turned out in large numbers and the nomination process was peaceful. So if this be a marker, then you can be safe to assume that the people of Mombasa County and perhaps the coastal area at large will turn out in large numbers to vote for the leaders of their choice come March 4th general election. Here at KTN, we can always wish them the best. We can only wish them the best, and may the candidates win. Reporting from Mombasa, I am Ferdinand Omondi.
Ferdinand Omondi reporting from Mombasa. Many thanks, Ferdinand. It seems that discontent persists. We'll see how it goes tomorrow. Now, even before the dust settled after the heavily disputed URP primaries in Kericho County, the CORD took its campaigns to the area in what appeared to be a calculated move to reap from the discontent. Raila said CORD will seek to have the 4 Kenyans facing charges at the International Criminal Court in The Hague tried at home if they are sent to power. The PM said the CORD government will petition the UN Security Council to have the Kenyans tried in Kenya as one way of promoting reconciliation and national cohesion in the country. Addressing a public rally at Kericho Green Stadium, Odinga said he was not anyone's enemy, adding that indeed he had forgiven all those who had demonized and insulted him, saying he was ready to have them join him in bringing change to the country.
Sisi tuna chuki na mtu yote. Wale ambao mnaona ni watu wetu. Hawa wote ambao wanakuja hapa wananitusi, wanasema mengi juu yangu, ni watu yangu. Tukishika nataka kuleta mambo yote hapa ndani nyumbani. Hata kuona kama watu wetu wanapelekwa kwenda kushtakia huko nje. Nitawaleta hiyo kesi hapa nyumbani. Sasa
You're watching Choice 2013. Thank you for staying with us. We're taking a short break. Nick is up next with the Day Sports. Stay with us.